What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Burn the Wagon podcast. Here we are at the Capitol for the Missing and Murdered Indigenous People Week of Action. Here I am with Debra and Morningstar. Debra, can you let us know where you're from?
Yes, I'm from Redwood Valley, California, which is probably about 2.5 hours west of here.
Okay. And yesterday you were speaking and had a lot of good things to say. Could you tell us what organization you're with?
Well, actually, I am the tribal chairwoman for our tribe, the Little River Band of Pomo Indians. But my job is actually working at a domestic violence agency in Ukiah, California, at Project Sanctuary, which is a domestic violence sexual assault program. And I'm the shelter director and have been working there probably about 30 years.
Okay. And can you tell us what you're here bringing awareness at the Capitol today, or what awareness you're bringing to the Capitol today?
Yes, I wanted to speak on violence against women. And when we talk about the missing and murdered Indigenous women, we know there's some roots, systemic issues that people are living with within their homes and families, and that's violence, whether it's family violence, domestic violence, or child abuse. There are so many issues that we carry as we grow into adults that can lead us into places, into people who will be victimizing us.
Absolutely. And there's a connection with you and Morningstar, correct? I was just told you were her teacher back in the day.
Yes, and so I was so happy to see her, a young woman who is so active and doing all the wonderful things that I remember her mom was doing when she was a little child. Worked at Hintel Coachal, which was a all-native preschool in Oakland, California. When I first started working there, it was on East 14th Street, and I started there as a parent volunteer. And so, because my son, Gary Joe, he was 3, and so he was attending, and I used to volunteer as a parent. And I got the support from other teachers, Linda Arenito, for one, who said, take a few classes at the college, and become a teacher's aide, and start there. And so I did. I went to Merritt College and I got my degree in child development. And then the new school happened up at Carl B. Monk. We were up there by Merritt College. And I remember when we first started looking at that site, there was so much resistance from that community because it was really a prominent white area. And they didn't want Indian children in their school because it was Carl B. Monk, the elementary school that some of our kids would be attending. And they were very resistant to that. But we persevered and pushed forward, and we got our site, we got our school, we got our teachers. We had all native teachers except for probably 2. We had a teacher who was Karuk. We had a Navajo lady who was a teacher. We had, oh gosh, a Paiute lady who was teaching. We had representing almost 100 tribes attending that school, all the children represented from Alaska to Arizona to Nevada to Northern California. So
Wow.
we had such a large representation. And I always remember it was all cultural based. And so the curriculum and everything that was taught there was either taught from someone who came in and taught the children songs. We had Carmen Nez, who was a Navajo lady who was a teacher, and she would teach the kids songs. Karen Harrison, Paiute Pomo, she would do cooking. She would do a cooking project with the kids. Um, Gosh, one of my best friends, Lena Yazzie, who is no longer with us, she would teach and make fry bread and do things in the classroom. Martha St. John, who is an elder from the Dakotas, her and her husband would come in and do storytelling. So we had such a strong culturally based curriculum. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful place to work, and that was some of my best memories teaching there.
That's beautiful.
And then, of course, I moved back home to Redwood Valley because we were having homes built. We got reestablished on our reservation, and so we had homes built. And so I came home,
That's
but
beautiful.
we had some wonderful times up there at Hinchell. And so sometimes, well, a couple of years ago, I haven't gone recently, but I went to the Stanford powwow and I saw some of the kids and they have families of their own and they're just, it's so beautiful. It's, to see them coming up, they recognize me or someone will say, this is her little girl when she was, and I was like, oh my gosh, the families, the growth, the families, the young people that I remember. It's beautiful. And just like this young lady, I remember her when she was just a little gal. She was probably about 4. And her mom, she takes after her mom being so sweet and kind and just, out there doing the work that Morningstar is doing, being a real activist for women's issues. So I'm just really proud to see her on many levels. And I've seen her not only here, but at other events. And it's really beautiful to hear her speak and to hear her passion and what she holds in her heart for her people.
Thank you so much for all of those words. And I attended Hintel Kukla from the ages of 2 to 11. And growing up in Oakland, and I've talked to Juan about it before, living in the urban Indian community and intertribal, Hintel was just really such a center place. And all of the teachers, primarily women teachers, that just were such strong role models for us in raising us and ensuring that we were learning our cultural traditions, that we were learning just so many different, I remember pine needle basket making, and they were even doing deer tanning and, just all of the cultural activities that were taking place, the camping, trips and the backpacking trips and all of it just meant so much. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for all of your commitment to a lot of little scraggly Indian kids that are in the community today. So, and thank you for your continued work as chairwoman.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you for that acknowledgement. I might have been there to guide and to be supportive for all the families and the children who are growing up. But, it takes a village. And we hear that. It might sound so cliche, but it's really true. And I think Hintel was a perfect example of that for our Native families in the Bay Area, a real connection. Something to really ground us. So thank you for that, Morningstar. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And I'm super happy to be able to witness this moment right here because that's like beautiful. Yeah, that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? So thank you for taking the time out of your day and doing the podcast. And thank you, Morningstar, for making this happen.
Of course.
Peace, guys.